2019 has been a year of some great movies, and we can't wait to tell you what to look forward to in the coming few years. Here are the top 10 movies releasing in 2020 and 2021. Keep an eye out for them. Some of these have major cast additions, and some of these franchises are being taken forward after the early 2000s. While a lot of their prequels disappointed fans worldwide, great things are being expected out of the upcoming big-budget projects. Time will tell how they perform at the box office. Fast and the Furious remains one of the most popular action movies of all time. While all installments in the franchise haven't had positive reviews, it nevertheless delivers on fast-paced action, seemingly impossible stunts, and brilliant camera work. The all-star cast is expected to make yet another comeback in 2020, as Fast and the Furious 9 goes through its pre-production phase currently. Audiences worldwide feel that, like some other movies, repeatedly flushing out sequels in a franchise seems like overkill, and that the team should have ended it on a certain basis. So while one can expect some intense uppercuts and car chases, one cannot deny the fact that the storyline becomes more and more vague with time, since sequels are being repeatedly pushed out with no definite ending. A surprising fact is that John Cena is rumored to be joining the all-star cast, which is certainly an appealing factor for fans. Another surprising revelation was made by Tyrese Gibson, who released an image featuring Matt Damon. So fans are expecting some major surprises in May 2020. The highest-grossing movie of all time, $2.8 billion worldwide, and a 3 Oscar winner, Avatar is getting a sequel. Master director James Cameron has openly stated that he wishes to shoot the movie in a higher frame rate, that is, in 48 or 60 FPS. This means that the film quality would be so high a lot of theaters worldwide would require a downgraded version of the movie for it to be playable on the less advanced systems. Conversely, this movie alone could be a pioneer in the attempts to get HFR, high frame rate, into cinemas worldwide. Considering the success of its predecessor, very high things are expected out of this movie. Fans, however, doubt if Vin Diesel would be best suited for the movie, as he's rumored to be a part of the cast. Initially, James Cameron had announced a sequel way back in 2014, but his plans were delayed because of the immense workload required to produce such a high-quality movie. His ideas demanded technologies that didn't exist at the time, reportedly to shoot performance capture scenes underwater, and a lot of manual labor on the VFX team's part. This highly complex idea was difficult to implement, thus giving us hopes of a sequel years after the first installment. Cameron has stated that the story will involve the same leading characters, and humans returning as the antagonists in December 2021. The DC Extended Universe, or DCEU for short, has been long struggling to overshadow the Marvel Cinematic Universe's high-grossing and long-established franchises. Many a time, much-anticipated movies like Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice have disappointed eager fans, and directors continue to struggle in delivering the right stories in the right ways. The upcoming installment in the DCEU is to be of The Flash, which has long deserved an origin story-based movie. After the success of the series, fans now look out to a full-fledged, big-budget movie starring Ezra Miller, who will be a part of a seemingly cliché storyline, wherein the superhero travels into a timeline full of turmoil and all heroes being lost and scattered. The final responsibility will fall onto Barry Allen to make things right. The unimpressive storyline and the rumors of Ezra Miller being replaced as the Flash put DCEU's plans in jeopardy yet again. Fans are uncertain if this movie will ever see the light of day, and whether or not the storyline will surprise the critics. Needless to say, in the era of the Marvel Universe, with Avengers Endgame recently breaking the high billion mark set by Avatar in the US, it will certainly be a challenge to shake up the status quo and further solidify DC Movies' foundations. The most recent installment into the franchise, Godzilla the King of Monsters, received mixed reviews. While fans admired the action-packed special effects, they weren't too fond of the storyline on the whole. Because of this, the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong movie is less hyped, as the expectations have begun to drop. Some have blamed the cast, and some have blamed the scripts, but the fact remains that all of the Godzilla movies contain some brilliant special effects which have carried the movie through rough critic reviews. Fights between Kong and Godzilla are now the talk of the town, but it's hoped that the movie possesses an artful story. Godzilla has been a traditional, timeless classic in Hollywood, and one can only hope that despite more advanced graphics and effects, the immersiveness of the original story does not take a back seat in further sequels. The movie is reportedly releasing in March 2020. The world's favorite minions, Bob, Stewart, and Kevin, are all set to return with a bang in the latest installment of the Despicable Me spin-off. The first installment grossed over $1 billion in revenue worldwide, and the upcoming sequel is expected to surpass the previous numbers, considering how much popularity the Minions have gained over the years. With extensive merchandise available and strategic marketing, Minions have not only become a global sensation, but also a global brand. Decorated by several accolades from the British Academy Film Awards and People's Choice Awards, the first Minions movie proved to be a major hit, and fans now eagerly wait to see what notorious plans Gru has in mind in Minions: The Rise of Gru. It's rumored that the story quite literally adheres to the title. The movie will showcase a young Gru and explain his rise as the evil genius we now know. It's set to release in July 2020. After immense public backlash over past offensive tweets, James Gunn was let go as the director of the beloved Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, leaving its continuation uncertain. Fast forward a couple of months full of public support and lobbying, Gunn was reinstated as the director, to the delight of Marvel fans worldwide. The plot of Volume 3 is yet unknown, but it is interesting to consider all the fan theories that exist. It is also uncertain whether or not the events will take place after the Infinity War Endgame saga or during it. There are, however, definite rumors that Adam Warlock would be making a debut in this installment, with the cast still unknown. Warlock was a major possibility predicted by Endgame fan theorists, but this scenario has been revived yet again for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. There is no further information available regarding the movie, but it is to release in 2021. Currently filming is a movie based on the popular cartoon from all of our childhoods, Scooby-Doo. Titled Scoob, this movie is set to cast top Hollywood actors like Amanda Seyfried, Mark Wahlberg, Zac Efron, and Ken Jeong. Fans are hoping this Scooby-Doo movie will be unlike the first one, made in 2002 with a minimal rating of 5 on IMDb and 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. The sequel was released in 2004, but that too failed to impress audiences worldwide. It had a worse rating of 22% on the Tomato Meter and a similar IMDb rating. Similar reviews were received for both these installments, saying that the jokes weren't all that hilarious, the stunts were unimpressive, and the cast and crew did not learn any lessons from the first failure. Here's hoping that the upcoming movie Scoob will restore everyone's faith in Hollywood's way of handling our beloved cartoon. The quality of production, despite an all-star cast, could be debatable, since Scoob will be director Tony Cervone's first theatrical release. An inexperienced director could mean an unimpressive movie. Time will tell. Marvel is continuously at it with several movies coming out in the upcoming years, despite the recent end to their Phase 3 saga. It's no breaks for Marvel at the moment. Production for Morbius is set to finish as early as June 2019, and a release date is set as July 31st, 2020. After the recent Disney merger, it's expected that this MCU installment will feature a variety of characters and plots from different universes, coming under the one umbrella of Walt Disney Studios. Jared Leto will play the living vampire Morbius, and the movie is rumored to be set in a dark, mystical-like tone. It's expected to have shades of thriller, horror, and drama in it, much unlike the Marvel movies we have seen so far. MCU seems to be diversifying its projects and experimenting more with tones and genres. It seems to be adopting this from its rival, the DCEU, but its proper implementation is yet to be witnessed. While it might sound like a movie primarily revolving around the popular Barbie doll, it might surprise you to know that this movie sets out to emphasize a very important social message. Barbie was recently under major backlash for setting unrealistic beauty standards among young females, who were psychologically feeling inferior and unhappy with themselves because of not looking like the popular toys. This movie, which critics suspect is a stunt for positive publicity, sets out to tackle these very ideas of perfect beauty. A doll living in Barbie Land is expelled for not being perfect enough, and she sets off on an adventure in the real world to find solace. The choice of cast, too, did not surprise a lot of people, with Margot Robbie playing Barbie. Fans say that it is perhaps the most well-thought casting that could have been done, as her natural resemblance to the traditional look of Barbie is quite uncanny. The movie is set to release in May 2020. DCEU is expected to produce a Green Lantern movie by July 2020. A surprising fact is that there are rumors that this is a very secret movie master director Christopher Nolan is working on. Considering his outstanding track record as director and his impeccable Dark Knight trilogy, fans can expect great things from this DC movie. The frontrunner for the role of Hal Jordan is currently Jensen Ackles, the Supernatural star. It's certainly a possibility of Jensen getting involved with the DCEU, since he already has a contract with WB through Supernatural. Worst case scenario, he may not play Hal Jordan in Green Lantern Corps, but instead the reincarnation of Robin/Red Hood, aka Jason Todd. But DCEU fans see this as a win-win scenario. Considering the failure of the previous Green Lantern and hitting the expected mark, the world eagerly waits to see how this beloved character will be revived in the cinematic world. If at all the Christopher Nolan rumor turns out to be true, there's very little doubt regarding his capability. If not, the fans will depend on Jensen Ackles' ability to portray the character with utmost perfection and carry the series forward.